Good day to you. This morning, or today, I'm going to be sharing about culture and cats and kind of how God set things up on the earth. And this might be something you have never heard before, so please bear with me as I try to explain this. So I'm going to start with the word culture, because we see a lot of groups, different cultural groups, ethnic groups, different nations, different peoples on the earth, and everybody's, well, I can't say everyone, but a lot of people are having troubles between the different cultural groups, and they don't have a really clear understanding about culture. So culture is where your customs, your arts, your social interactions, and your social institutions of a people grow up. They actually are geographically aligned. So the cultures of a people are geographically aligned. And I want to show you that. So myself personally, I am the substance or essence of the culture that I grew up in. Now, I grew up in Kitchis-Barini territory along the Ottawa River, 100 miles west of Ottawa. But where I grew up and the time that I grew up around a multitude of ethnic groups. And I learned from all of them. And I am a sum of all my parts, as you are a sum of all your parts. So you have in your individual homes, you have a specific types of culture that you're being raised in. But I'm going to take you into the greater world and show you how the Creator placed everyone. And I'm going to teach this through cats and seeds, because that's very important. Now, when I'm sharing through metaphor, and just for people, I just want you to know that there are analogies and parables, stories that try to help you share your words so that other people gain an understanding of what you're trying to say. This is why Christ spoke in parables. Some people get it right away, and others take time. They have to study it. They have to meditate on it. They have to think about it. And depending on the culture that you were raised in, some concepts are different from your cultural point of view. But I'm going to try, and I'm sorry that this is shaking. I am no good at technology, and I'm making these little videos on my phone. If it shakes, it's because I'm getting excited and it starts to move around. So forgive me for that. So back to culture. When the Creator created the earth, and He created all things, and He called all things into being through His words, He placed all of the animals on the earth before He ever brought man into the picture of earth. And we have stories about the garden, and we have stories about what the earth was like and the order that God placed things in. Now, I'm going to give you a metaphor about the grass. So there's grass all over the entire earth. There's different types of grasses. And I just want you to kind of hold that picture, because the Creator put everything in its proper place on the face of the earth. And how I'm going to teach that through cats is to show you that whatever environment you grow up in, the living beings that God created were your first teachers. Now, First Nations people, Indigenous people have been telling people that for years. So I'm going to try and explain it clearly. If you grow up in a place with cedar trees, the cedar will be one of your main teachers, because that's the environment that you grow up in, which produces the culture that you grow up in. So culture derives from the medium, the conditions that are suitable for growth. It doesn't matter if it's a bacteria or if it's a human being. Whatever is suitable. God places everything in its right habitat and place for the purpose that God has called it into existence. So some people have cedar trees that they learn from. Other people have maple trees. Other people have palm trees. Other people have fir trees, pine trees. But that's part of your environment and part of the things that teach you throughout your life. Now, God has also put great spirits. Great spirits are any living being that God created. God is the Great Spirit, and all spirits descend from the Creator. And the Great Spirits is just another name for all life. That's all it is, all life. And the Creator, the Great Spirit, is the creator of all life. And there is only one Creator that created every living thing and gave it its natural purpose before sin entered into the world. So when the Creator placed things on the earth, and I'm using the cats to show you this, he placed certain cats in certain places. Now, for an example, I'm going to tell you about the Manx cat. The Manx cat is a really small cat, has no tail, and it originated on the Isle of Man. That little cat is the teacher for that entire little island. And wherever it happens to travel or move in a natural way. In the Americas, we have in Canada, from up in the Yukon all the way down to South America, we have a panther. And we have the jaguars in South America. Those are the teachers that teach the people here. In the Himalayas, you might have the cloud leopard. And in India, you have tigers. In Africa, you have another kind of panther, but ultimately, you get to the lion. And also I'll mention the leopards that traveled from Asia through into Africa. They even went up into Europe, so that you'll see it on heraldry. And one of the reasons you see these things on heraldry or attached to people's names is because originally everybody knew that these were the great spirits they were related to. These were their teachers. And the greatest of all the cats is marked by a mane. A mane. So any animal that has a mane around it, some of them have manes and robes and beards, extra whiskers, and they all have a meaning. The kings and tribal leaders and chieftains and khans and all the other different names for the head honchos, they used to carry whips from the tail of a lion or the tail of a leopard. Those whips were to a symbol of their power, a symbol of their authority, because tails actually balance these animals, and they're used for like a whip to put people in the proper order. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm saying it in a because most tribal leaders originally were loving leaders. They loved their people. They looked after their people until things got corrupted. So those symbols of authority that you see, those tails, or then they turned into rods or a staff. They tell you about the authority. Christ is called the Lion of Judea. Lions are very important to a lot of people, and they signify, I mean, if you've ever heard a lion roar, even their purrs go right through you. But if a lion roars, he has everyone's attention. His thunderous roar is like a sound wave that goes through you, right through your bones, right into your heart and spirit and soul. So that's why the lion was the symbol of authority. And that's how God placed these beings upon the face of the earth to teach people. Even the bovine or cattle, one of the first things in the Bible, the first animal I believe that the Creator named in the Bible is cattle. Cattle are very significant in a positive way, and I'm not talking negative with the golden calf and all of that, because that is where people go wrong. Worshipping something, worshipping a spirit other than God. You are not supposed to worship anything other than God. These animals that guide you and teach you. So for the First Nations people, happily will I announce that the bison is the main bovine on the whole face of the earth. It has a mantle. It has a robe. It has a mane. It has that tail that it is so fast. It provides everything for a people. So the teachings and the symbology help people understand how the Creator is the provider of everything. And that bovine, that bison, and in other countries it's the buffaloes and the Scottish Highlander cattle and all of the cattle all over the earth that are sacred to people, that they understand that they provided life for the people around them. And there's whole teachings that go along with every single part. People don't take the time anymore to learn about the environment that they're living in and growing up in, and the culture. And the cultures have become, I don't want to say watered down, but we are losing some of the beauty of our life because we don't allow people their expressions through their cultures, because everything's come down to money. So we hear about cultural appropriation because people are thinking that they own one specific type of thought. And that only comes down to dollars and cents, because before people shared their cultures with everyone because they wanted to show how the Creator had blessed them and how they were generous and could share their cultural teachings and their beliefs and their understanding of the great spirit of the Creator with everyone else. You hear stories, biblical stories about how queens and kings would bring a whole retinue of gifts and show things that were exotic and only known to them, like their spices and their different foodstuffs or their different animals, and how they would introduce them to others. This made our world beautiful, and you got to see a picture of the Creator in a different way. When people are fighting over the Creator, I want to remind you of a circle. So take any family, and maybe this is a big family and they've got 15 children, and you sit them in a circle and you put the mom and the dad in the middle of that circle. Well, then you ask your children to describe your mom and dad. The older children might have remembered mom and dad when they were really in love and young and they were strong and healthy. The younger children might remember, or maybe the middle children would remember a time when their parents weren't being good parents. Maybe they were partying too much. Maybe they were having trouble paying bills and the household was suffering. Or maybe the younger ones were always protected by the parents, so they see the parents as loving protectors. But other children might remember when they got disciplined and they saw their parents as strict and mean. Or we have to be open to other people expressing their understanding of one another in a nicer and better way. Those two parents, none of those children in the circle, when you ask them to describe their parents, are lying about what their parents are like. They're telling you to the best of their ability and the best of their knowledge what their parents are like. But when you have somebody in a circle, if I put my hand up, some of you are only seeing one side of it, but the other children are seeing this side, and some see this side. This is the perspective of life. This can be something really beautiful, or you can fight about it all day long and you can say, well, my perspective's the only perspective. That's what's wrong with the world. We are supposed to be respectful. One of the great spirits that teaches about respect is the skunk. Okay, people don't need to see the skunk. His reputation rides on the wind. The skunk is small. It's got certain colors on it, black and white. It's telling you there's a right way and a wrong way. The skunks, even though it's really small, it has the power, if it sprays you, to banish you from your own kind. It can banish others away from you and protect you, but it can banish you so that you need to go and take time out to think about your position, to wonder how you were disrespectful and to correct yourself. It doesn't kill you, it just sprays you and gives you time to think. The skunk is the teacher of respect. And a skunk is so respectful that before they spray you, they do like a little upside down, says, turn your world upside down. Before I have to spray you, it does a little dance, a little ditty. It tells you. It gives you warning. You've done something wrong. Back off. That's a teacher that the Creator made. What the Creator made, He gave purpose to. Just like He gave purpose to us, human beings. And He said, all I'm asking of you is love me with all your mind, heart, and soul, spirit, and love others of your kind. Love your neighbor as yourself. Do unto them what you want done to you. Treat them with respect, and you'll get respect back. Well, not always in this world, but originally that's what that was about. Also, I want to take you to Scripture because I love the Word of God. And God, I've just been a lover of God my whole life, but God gave me a gift of seeing Him in different ways. And one thing that you'll learn about these great spirits, if you know the teaching of the lion or of cats, and a lot of people have cats in their house because they're up close and personal, trying to teach you about, they just give you love. They're not very demanding. They want a little bit of food and they just love you. They massage you. They tell you, I need you. When you need something, you're taking the impurities out of it and you're making it better. just like you do with bread, and then you let it sit and rest, and that's how we're supposed to think about things. So back to the word. All of the things that the Creator made were supposed to grow greater. They were supposed to grow greater in spirit, in knowledge, in love, so that by the time you become an old person, you are going to become a holy person. A holy person is somebody that is whole, has whole thoughts, thinks in good ways. So one of my favorite verses when I was young, and I was stuck on it for so long, was about the mustard seed. Truly I tell you, if you have faith, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you. And I got a little tiny mustard seed and looked at that and went, I don't get it. How can surely I have faith that's bigger than that little mustard seed, but I didn't. And I am still working on it. Mountains are things that stand in your way. They stand in your way of your development. Some people blow up mountains. Some people go around them. Some people climb them. Some people go under them. I have a son that's a caver. He's always crawling around in the bottom of mountains. Mountains are also a metaphor for teachers. If you can move your teacher, like the one that is supposed to know more than you, you're moving things that stand in your way, but it has to be done in a good way. And it says the kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed. Well, mustard seeds grow great. And we as believers are supposed to be sharing the things we know in love so that God's word grows great around the face of the earth, done in a loving and respectful way where people want to know more about our Holy Father. So I've talked for a long time. I'm going to leave you with that. And I hope you have a little better understanding about culture, cats, and seeds that grow greater. And I'm supposed to say, please share, like, subscribe, and thank you for letting me share. I have been ill for a while. I'm going to mention for those that don't know me, I've had Lyme disease a couple of times. I've had a stroke. I'm not a really super duper healthy person, but I'm still here. The Creator still has given me purpose, and His glory and His strength, I hope, are seen through my weaknesses. And I hope that you share this with others, and may you be blessed, and all of your loved ones be blessed. And let's bring heaven on earth, and God's glorious kingdom will be here soon. Oh, and judgment isn't, it's not doom and gloom, okay? What's the time that's coming should be one of the most joyous, wonderfulest time in our lives. We will get to live with our holy family. And that's probably the most important thing that I could say, is we will get to live with our holy family. Anyway, have a good day.